Welcome back, Flare community. I hope you're all well and having an incredible day as always. And yes, it is time for the weekly news update where we will be covering all of the significant developments on both the Songbird and the Flare network. We're going to jump straight in here to this picture from none other than Sarah, who is getting ready for a hot XRPfi summer. Yes, I thought it was a nice little picture just to start things off here. I'm going to talk a little bit more about XRPfi on the Flare network in this up and coming section of the tweets. So we've got this here saying, and this is actually a quote from Mr. Hugo Filion, co-founder of the Flare network. He says, the first protocol to use F-assets, or should I say F-assets, my bad, on the Flare mainnet is a restaking protocol that will offer XRP holders a way to earn additional rewards and welcome new DeFi opportunities. By bringing XRP's deep liquidity into Flare's fully composable DeFi ecosystem, F-assets could be the spark that ignites the XRPfi movement. Hugo said that. I tend to agree. Seems like there's a lot of excitement surrounding F-assets and particularly with XRP. We know that XRP will be the very first F-asset to launch on the Flare network. It's actually already active on Songbird. And in version 1.1 of F-assets, it's not going to actually include any other assets like Bitcoin or Dogecoin or anything else. It's going to be an XRP exclusive, mainly because the XRP ledger can facilitate escrows, and that's very important to the core vault system. Of course, that is going to be something of the past once version 2.0 comes out, but for now, the highlight and the focus is on XRP. Got this here from Hugo. He put out a poll pretty recently, just a couple of days ago. Would you like to be able to use your XRP to collateralize the issuance of a stablecoin? I thought that this was a rhetorical question and likely already implemented and part of XRPfi summer. We got this message from Hugo here saying that it was pretty conclusive, of course, as we would expect. Eri replies, holy cow, Hugo, I think you're serious. He says that he is, and this is already being built by one of the developers in the ecosystem. Obviously, FXRP will be the first eligible collateral from which to mint stablecoin. So this is some really big news and huge utility for the prospect of XRP. Now, I know that the XRP holders are very much interested in earning a yield on an asset that has been somewhat maybe unusable. You know, obviously it's used in enterprise with Ripple's use cases, but in terms of earning a yield, XRP has very much lacked them opportunities, and Flare is going to unlock them. Moving on here, we've got this from the Flare official account. XRPfi, turbocharges FLR usage. Every time XRP becomes FXRP via the F-asset protocol, it needs FLR for collateral and gas. 0.5% of the XRP's value is required in FLR as reserve collateral. For example, minting 1000 FXRP means that the user needs to supply around 650 FLR as a reserve. Not optional, but built into the F-assets 1.1 protocol. As XRPfi adoption grows, this system drives continuous structural demand for FLR. So this is really important. You know, if Flare XRPfi summer is going to be as big as many of us think, then it could potentially lead to a good amount of FLR being provided as a collateral reserve. This is, again, very much welcomed, and we're just gonna have to see how this plays out. I imagine the yields for XRP, or specifically FXRP, will be very generous in the form of RFLR rewards. We're just going to have to wait and see, but yeah, I'm pretty bullish on this, and let me know what you guys think in the comments too. Do you think it's going to be a big hit? Maybe a swing and a miss? I guess time will tell. Some other big things that we have going on is Hugo Philion, in just a couple of weeks, will be speaking in Singapore at the Apex event. This is an event hosted by Ripple, and it's very much targeted towards developers with an interest in the XRP ledger. I actually attended this a couple of years ago in Amsterdam, and it was actually really great, well organized and very informative. I did actually even have the privilege to ask Mr. David Schwartz a question, mainly surrounding the AMM, once that was really coming to fruition on the XRP ledger. But anyways, I digress. Flores put, XRP is highly liquid. No doubt, XRP is the third largest digital asset. XRP has one of the lowest costs of capital. Now turn it into FXRP and it becomes a productive asset. Earn staking yield and secure XRPL dApps via the Secured Service Network. Hugo is going to be talking about this in just a couple of weeks at Apex. These sessions are actually uploaded at a later date. It's something that I'm very much looking forward to, but hopefully we get some live sneak peeks, and maybe someone from the inside can share some of the knowledge that Hugo is talking about on the day. So stay tuned for that. And of course, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss any of this news. Right, moving on, we have this. It's just a video from SparkDex, but I thought it was quite a moving, let's say, video here. The way that the XRP and the Flare are combining together. It's almost like two black holes merging or something. But yeah, I think once these worlds collide, we're going to see an explosion of total value locked on the Flare network, which is, of course, very much welcomed. Right, so there was some breaking news about a new proposal that has been discovered, and this is basically the redistribution of unearned rewards. This was actually found by Anubis, so shout out to him, and it kind of slips through the radar a little bit. So this is the proposal page. This is the forum where it was discussed, but something that you do need to know is that this was not a public proposal, which is probably why the Flare team did not market it or try to give it any exposure. Like I said, it did go under the radar. If we just look back at the proposal here, we're going to read the overview and the rationale for reallocation. So, title is Redistribution of Unearned Rewards. Within the core protocols on the Flare network, certain actions by data providers can result in penalties where rewards are burned rather than distributed. Consequently, a significant amount of value is effectively removed from the ecosystem, a trend that has increased following the introduction of the new reward structure, which includes an inflationary allocation to the Flare data connector protocol. And a lot of people read this and they think that it is some sort of new inflation, but it's not. As you know, once the FDC, the Flare data connector, went live, a portion of the existing inflation, which is set on the Flare network at about 5%, if I'm not mistaken, a portion of that 5% was directed to those validators that are, or the infrastructure providers that are providing data to the Flare data connector and providing attestations. Following FIP 11 and SIP 05, the Flare Foundation proposes reallocating a portion of these rewards to reinforce the core protocols that drive the network's functionality, rather than permanently burning them. Reason for the reallocation? Rather than eliminating these Flare tokens from circulation, they propose that they should redirect them towards initiatives that enhance protocol efficiency, stability, and overall network performance. Importantly, this reallocation ensures that the funds continue to flow to data providers and their delegators, reinforcing their role in securing the network. So this redirection of funds, it does get routed to the core protocols, and if you are a delegator and supporting or delegating to an infrastructure provider, you will get a share of these rewards too. Now for me, I'm sort of a bit unbiased with this. I quite like the deflationary aspects of the way that it was, and but it seems like it hasn't been decided, because if we go back here, we can see that this voting did end for this proposal on the 28th of May, which was yesterday if you're watching this video once it launches, and it was actually only allowed to be voted on by the participants of the network infrastructure, so the infrastructure providers. As you can see, 28 out of 28 voted in favor for this, and yeah, so it looks like it did pass. The redistribution of unearned rewards is now, or the unearned rewards that was once burnt is now being forwarded or redirected to the data providers and the delegators. So obviously each entity that you delegate to has a certain fee. Most are around 10 to 20%. You'll be getting 80 to 90%, and they will take their cut just as delegation rewards work. Right, continuing on here, this was a very simple post that I did, abstract everything, and a lot of people are unsure what abstraction is. A lot of people hear chain abstraction, wallet abstraction, and it's basically, in its simplest form, as I wrote here, the higher the level of abstraction, the more complexities are removed from the user, improving their experience. So that is one, I guess, fairly detailed sentence. An abstraction of this sentence would be something like, abstraction simplifies actions for the user. And to simplify it even further, abstraction equals good. And the reason that I talk about abstraction, and specifically with the Flare network, is that they're looking towards chain abstraction with both protocol managed wallets, and trusted execution environments. This combination of protocols will allow chains to be abstracted, meaning that you can interact with any integrated chain from the Flare network without ever having to leave it, without ever having to configure, Ethereum networks and switching wallets within MetaMask or connecting to the XRP ledger. You'll just connect to the Flare network and be able to execute transactions on any other network. And this is really powerful. This is the super dApp that Hugo talks about. And if someone can pull it off, it is really going to be a game changer for the industry. Moving on here, we've got this from Flare. The Dune dashboard is in. Study RFLR, which is reward Flare, the incentive fuel behind Flare's 3x DeFi total value locked surge in just 1 month. If you didn't know, RFLR is an asset that is rewarded for participating in decentralized finance activities on the Flare network. There is huge opportunities here to accumulate and compound RFLR by providing liquidity or supplying and lending and borrowing assets on the Flare network. This is what the dashboard looks like, and it's very comprehensive, and there's a lot of detail within this particular dashboard, and I'm probably going to be breaking this down further in a separate video because it is that dense with information. Something that I thought was really interesting here, percentage of addresses that claimed or did not claim any of the rewards. So you can see that only 11% of the wallets have claimed, and there's quite a few people that have not claimed. But still, this is an interesting dashboard, lots of information here, and I'm going to be talking about it more in the near future. This is a post from Leader Alpha. He's been covering the Flare network, Cardano, and some others too. Just goes to show how fast things can change in crypto, and this is specifically about the total value locked, the TVL, on the Flare network. You can see here, this is 2024 going into October, and soon you'll see the explosion of USDT 0 and this RFLR incentive that we have recently seen in the past couple of months. Get ready. There you go. That was the explosion. And this is just one initiative. I can imagine once XRPfi summer starts, things are about to get a whole lot crazier. Moving on here, Flare are talking about some of the wallets that are supporting the Flare network. Just to open this up, we've got Solidify, we've got the Ledger hardware wallet, SafePal, the Decent hardware wallet, we have the Bifrost wallet, Trezor, Oxenflow, and MetaMask 2. Right, a week in Fleur. So Fleur talk about all of these entities that are building on Fleur. Let's give it a quick read here. Fleur keeps moving forward, and so does the community. Builders, creators, and contributors across the ecosystem are pushing things ahead every week. We saw Fleur total value locked, or TVL, reach 190 million for the first time ever. The new June dashboard, which we recently featured, had just dropped, focusing on RFLR. Of course, like I said, I will be covering that more in the future. We've got none other than Candao, who built the AI agent Miguel on the Fleur network, and it actually monitors the liquidity pools on SparkDex and Enosis. Something very interesting, something that I'm keeping my eye on, and I think is going to be potentially incorporating this into the Fleur Bank project. Wallets-wise, we've got Bifrost, Oxenflow, and Burst nodes, adding gasless transfer support for USDT 0, and we actually saw a demonstration from the Fleur developer account with Victor, and it was quite interesting. I'm thinking of some use cases where I can actually develop this or integrate this gasless transaction into some of the applications that I've been building too. We've got Protocol Vera that built a community tool that gives reputation score to your blockchain address based on on-chain and social activity. We also have none other than Jon Snow, built a platform called HP Mana that rewards delegators while boosting validators' self-bonding. It's actually a little bit more complicated than this. He's basically issuing NFTs that share a portion of the revenue generated from the service that is an infrastructure provider hosted by Jon Snow. Big appreciation to everyone in the community helping grow, simplify, and localize Fleur content around the world, including Fleur Africa. We've got this guy, the Rich Kid. We've got Fleur Japan Group, and we've also got Taki too. Fleur Forward, big shout out, and many others. I guess including myself there. I've been creating content for Fleur for many years now, and I'm just sharing everything that I'm passionate about. We got this here from the Fleur developer account. Like I said earlier, they did actually provide a live stream recently, and it's definitely worth watching if you are a developer. This account is definitely worth a follow and focused very much on the technical. So let's just read this one here. Confused about the FDC, or the Fleur Data Connector, and the FTSO, which is the Fleur Time Series Oracle? Here's a very simple explanation. Fleur Data Connector basically brings verified info from other blockchains and off-chain sources into Fleur. This is in a decentralized manner where you have all of the infrastructure providers that validate this information and ensure that it is of high integrity. The FTSO, or the Fleur Time Series Oracle, is a decentralized data feed that collects real-time data, like prices, from many different sources, checks for accuracy, and then feeds it into the smart contracts. This is really powerful because it gives developers access to a whole range of data that is, of course, of high integrity. And with that, you can do a lot of different things that you cannot necessarily do on other chains. Together, the Fleur Data Connector and the FTSO, the Fleur Time Series Oracle, let smart contracts interact and react to the real world. Now, I did see this post here from Bruno, simplifying it further with some analogies. This guy is definitely worth a follow, and he seems to write really well, and it's quite comprehensive. I think it's a good post to follow, and I'm sure he'll be creating more in the future. At Bruno, or maybe Brun of Com. No, Bruno F. Com. Let's go with that. Right, moving on. NFTs. This is xHaven, the best or the highest volume NFT marketplace on the Fleur network. Looking for the top selling NFTs of the week. Topping the charts is Block Bonez. In second place, it's the Fat Cats. Third place, it is Loyalties Collection from Enosis. In fourth place, we have the Smuggler Chimp traits. And in fifth place, we have the Block Bonez traits. Lots of exciting things coming from the Digital DYNMX projects. I'm going to talk about them in just a moment, starting with Block Bonez. So for those of you who don't know, there is this Earn Boost Plus program, which basically you can buy BNZ, which is the native asset of the Block Bonez ecosystem. And for each one that is bought via this link, one is burnt. So this is the website. We started with 2 million, 750,000 have been bought or over that. So it means that over 750,000 will be burnt. Now, bear in mind that we did start with 100 million. And as you can see now, it's actually very recently just dropped below 98 million. So 2% of the supply has been burnt. And a lot of that is coming from the recent promotion. And this is from obviously Block Bonez. There is a lot of deflationary pressure, but recently, as I just mentioned, turbocharging it with the latest Block Bonez burn campaign, resulting in a potential 30 million BNZ to be burnt, and that represents 30% of the total supply. Long story short, you can buy trait crates at a massively reduced price. A lot of people always talk about how they were late to the party with Block Bonez, but this is the cheapest that we've ever sold the traits. And, you know, this is going to go down in history because Block Bonez is the best-selling collection on the Flare network of all time. Now, the best thing about this is that 100% of the BNZ that is used to purchase these trait crates is burnt, and it's only sold in the BNZ token. And if you are holding a Block Bonez NFT, you can actually claim this asset every single second. So it may be worth claiming your BNZ, picking up some traits, making and contributing towards the deflationary pressures of the asset, and enjoying life. I'm really interested to see how this project evolves because, as many of you know, the rewards are ever increasing. Next month in June, there is 600,000 FLR to distribute to holders of fully fused NFTs. Now, if you didn't know, this discount here, this offer, 3,000 BNZ, 100% burnt, is actually just the general offer, but for anyone that wants to join the Patreon membership, and I think there is a link in the description below, I am offering a lifetime discount. For anyone that wants to buy this, you get it for 2,500 BNZ, all trait crates forever. And again, like I said, all of this is burnt. I'm actually working really hard to produce some exclusive content for the Patreon family, and of course we have the monthly giveaways with numerous NFTs and a whole lot more. DYNMX rewards. So this is talking about Digital DYNMX, the, I guess, suite of products that power not just Block Bonez, but many other collections. And there's a really big moment just on the horizon where we're going to be initiating the rewards. And this is very big. It's going to be happening next week. And if you are holding a fully fused NFT, that could be a Smuggler Chimps NFT. It could be a, we've got the Yoru collection NFT and an upcoming collection as well in the form of the Freaks. This is going to be the third collection launch from Digital DYNMX. A really talented artist here. And yeah, I'm looking forward to his launch, which is also going to be happening next week. So keep your eyes peeled for that. This is talking about Flare and XRP. Just I guess a bit of a reminder here. The Flare community started, as many of us did watching this video, started as a subset of the XRP community through the generous FLR airdrop mechanics. It seems like we've almost come full circle. I want you to watch closely as we see a wave of XRP holders, both old and new, begin interacting with the Flare network. I know many of the XRP holders had a bit of a bad taste in their mouth once the proposal was introduced to change the distribution. If you stuck around, it's actually been beneficial for you guys, and me of course, you know, the amount of FLR was initially set at 1-to-1 or just over, if I'm not mistaken. And if you look at the statistics here from the new distribution, you've been able to accumulate much more. And these rewards have been passed to those who are active in the ecosystem. I think we're going to see a lot of the people who were initially salty about this return to the Flare network, all looking to earn attractive yields on an asset that has, unfortunately, lacked smart contract functionality for so long. Tides are changing, and XRPfi is about to become a reality on Flare through the innovative F asset protocol. Position yourself well, opportunities will appear everywhere. There's going to be very high yield opportunities, and I will be sharing all of my strategy with the Patreon family. Again, there is a link in the description if you do want to check it out. This was a post made by Jun, a member of the Flare team, and I thought, well, sometimes double-decker buses are just not enough. We know there's a big thing about buses and the Flare network. I'm patiently waiting for the next bus. I think we might actually see it with the XRP announcement that is coming, hopefully, from Hugo via the Apex speech that he has. And again, this is just a couple of weeks away. That is something that I'm particularly excited about. We're just going to have to sit tight and see what he has to say. But my speculation is that he's going to announce XRP version 1.1 of the F asset protocol at this conference. It certainly would make a big impact and huge for exposure for the protocol and for the Flare network. I guess time is just going to have to tell us the answer to that. But that is this week's news update. I really do hope that you enjoyed yourself and enjoyed the video. If you did like it, feel free to like it. Don't forget to subscribe on your way out. Thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, I'm out.
Mission Control, we have liftoff.